Hello everyone, namaste, welcome back to my channel. And hi, if you're new here, this is Amisha Singh Chauhan, and if you're looking for something fun, dark, and mysterious, then you're at the right place. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that every time I'm here, you'll get to know about it. So today's video is on a 7-year-old boy, Pradyuman Thakur, who was murdered in his school. I know, exactly. So if you're a parent or a guardian, or if you are a student yourself, school and home is one of the places where you find yourself to be really protected and safe. But most of the cases related to children, they happen unfortunately at home or school itself. And this case is solely based on an incident that Pradyuman Thakur was murdered in his school. So at some time we have been exposed to school examinations and things like that, and trust me, I was like an average student, above average I guess. In some subjects I was doing really good, and some subjects I was like just breathing on the surface. The reason why I'm talking about all of this is that I myself wasn't so fond of examinations and parent teachers meeting, thanks to mathematics. But I never tried avoiding it because my parents wouldn't let me do that, except there was some instances when I was really sick, so I had to take a leave. But overall, we students, most of the time, we just want to avoid examinations. But what extent would you go to postpone your examination or to disrupt it, and even your parent-teacher meeting? Well, that story and this story has the same pace. So on 8th of September 2017, like always, Barun Chandra Thakur dropped off his two kids, 11-year-old Vidhi and 7-year-old Pradyuman Thakur, to Rhine International School in Gurugram, Haryana. Haryana is a state in India. So it was 7:55 a.m. Around this time, Barun Chandra Thakur directly dropped off his kids. Now, there was bus service provided to the students, but Barun Chandra Thakur, in his defense, said that he did not really trust his kids' safety on bus services, and that is the reason why he actually started dropping off his kids personally to the school. So around 8 a.m., a lot of students rushed to the staffs and teachers in the school, informing them that they have seen 7-year-old Pradyuman Thakur outside the boys' washroom on the ground floor with slits on his throat, and he was drenched in his own pool of blood. So immediately the staffs, the school staff and the teachers, they rushed to the place. He was unconscious when the teachers found his body, injured body, outside the washroom. So there were a lot of witnesses out there. There were school teachers, there were staffs. Now staffs, I mean by a gardener whose name is Harpal Singh, remember that name. Also a bus conductor along with other students. Now this bus conductor, his name is Ashok Kumar. Again, a very important name in this entire case, so please remember it. So what happens is, as soon as they see it, they know that this is not some normal minor injury that takes place in the schools. So they ask the bus conductor to pick up Pradyuman's injured body so that they could take him to a teacher's car and rush him to a nearby hospital in Badshahpur. From that hospital, he's immediately transferred to Artemis Hospital in Gurugram, where he's declared dead on arrival. Now between all of this, around 8:15 a.m., the parents, Sushma and Barun, they receive a call from school authorities informing that their child has been injured. It was more than injury. Not only that, the school authorities did not even inform the police of that area. Yes, so as we all are well aware that if any accident takes place in the school premises, it's the school authorities' responsibility to well inform the parents as well as call in the police. But that did not happen. Like I said, it was the parents, when they went to the hospital, they reported the crime to the police officers. Now, around 11:30 the same morning, the Haryana police, that is the state police, they go to Rhine International School and they go to the crime scene and they start their investigation. Now here comes the really twisty part. So they go to the school around 11:30 a.m. and by 12 noon, they have the case sorted. Yes, I mean, oh my God. So a 7-year-old boy, he has his throat slit twice. He dies because of that injury, and the case is solved in half an hour. So what else do you want? Why are we talking about this if it is just so simple and plain and if it's so sorted? Well, there's more. Just wait. I am not just going to, give you a plain khichdi, if you're get the joke, then good. So within half an hour, the Haryana police, the state police, has investigated the entire crime scene, that is the boys' washroom on the ground floor near the second grade, and Pradyuman Thakur was a second grader. So they have the murder weapon as well as the murderer. Case solved, right? But no. So what happens next is that the police come in front of the media and they are like, we have the case solved, we have everything. The murderer, just take a guess. Take a wild guess who could be the murderer according to the Haryana police. Well, if you are wrong, if you're right, whatever, I'm here to solve that confusion. It was Ashok Kumar, the bus conductor. Yes. So, according to Haryana police, Ashok Kumar had gone to the washroom on the ground floor of that school to wash off a vegetable knife, which was part of a school bus first aid kit. Now, he had used it for, cutting some apple, and he was planning on getting it clean so that he could later on use it at his home. So, when he was in the washroom cleaning off his knife, he saw Pradyuman Thakur entering the washroom, and then it clicked that he wanted to sexually abuse him. So he tried doing it, but when he got restrained out of frustration, he took out his knife and slit Pradyuman Thakur's throat twice. Not only that, the Haryana police said that they could also find semen sample and blood samples on Pradyuman Thakur's body which did not belong to him. So they do their investigation, and within couple of days, Ashok Kumar confesses that indeed it was him who murdered Pradyuman Thakur. I mean, during 2017, I was also old enough to understand that there was something wrong. I mean, it looked pretty much like that. The police really wanted to, sort the case really quick. They just wanted to get things done. And so did the parents. So Barun and Sushma from the very beginning knew that it wasn't Ashok Kumar. They had some inside information that a student was involved. So they started saying, no, this is foul play and we don't want the state police, the Haryana police to do the investigation. They wanted the CBI to get involved. It's not easy to switch from a state police to a CBI investigation, but it did happen because the parents themselves were very persistent and they knew that no, it is not so easy. And also they weren't going to be satisfied by fake justice. They wanted justice for their son. So CBI comes into the picture, and on 22nd of September 2017, CBI conducts its own independent investigation on the crime scene with its own forensic team. And guess what? I'm asking too much guessing questions. I would just stop at that. They found another murder weapon. The CBI found the murder weapon in a bathroom stall inside the washroom. And indeed, when the forensics checked on it, it was actually the murder weapon, not just any murder weapon. So anyways, on further investigation, a lot of things started popping up. Like Ashok Kumar confessing that his confession was actually forced, that he was tortured physically and emotionally and mentally. And when he got to know about the CBI investigation, he decided that he can finally say the truth. Not only Ashok Kumar but also Saurabh Raghav, who was the driver of the same bus Ashok Kumar was the conductor of. He said that he was forced to make a statement that the vegetable knife the Haryana police had got was actually a part of the first aid kit of the school bus, but in fact it wasn't. It was just a random piece that they had just bought out of nowhere. Now another person, Harpal Singh, the gardener of the school, remember he was one of the first witnesses on the crime scene. He said that just like Ashok Kumar, initially during the investigation by the state police, even he was physically and emotionally tortured to confess that it was him who murdered Pradyuman Thakur. I cannot imagine like the state doing this, but it is pretty much obvious, like anything can be done with the help of power and money. Now, which reminds me to the point of Bar Association. So one of the bar associations of Gurugram made a resolution that they are not going to defend Ashok Kumar during his trial and prosecution. It is very sad because in the eye of the public and everyone, and especially the media, if a bar association makes such resolution, it pretty much looks like they have already decided and that they know that it is Ashok Kumar who is the perpetrator, who is the murderer. So later on, when on 22nd of November 2017, a district court gave Ashok Kumar bail, the bar resolution had to apologize and compensate, and in fact they were disciplined. Now, after all of this, on 28th of February 2018, Ashok Kumar was acquitted of all the charges. So yes, he came out as free, innocent man. And it is very sad to imagine that someone who does not have any hand in the murder had to go through all of these adversities. So, the National Human Rights Commission of India ordered the Haryana police to compensate for the wrong arrest of Ashok Kumar, but Ashok Kumar declined the compensation because he said that whatever he had to go through, the compensation was nowhere near it and it wasn't sufficient. I mean, you destroyed someone's life. Now, over all of this, the most important question that comes forward is, if it wasn't Harpal Singh, the gardener, if it wasn't the bus conductor Ashok Kumar, then who was it? Well, on 7th of November 2017, the CBI arrested a 16-year-old boy, an 11th grader from the very same school, Ryan International School of Gurugram, from his home. So, during their investigation, the CBI came up with a lot of evidences, physical evidences, and things that contradicted the Haryana police's statement. For example, the semen sample. So according to Haryana police, remember they said that they could find the semen sample on Pradyuman's body because according to them, Ashok Kumar was trying to sexually abuse him. Well, when they were corresponding, investigating, they couldn't find any semen samples. So what was it? It was nothing. Can semen just evaporate in the air? I mean, I don't really want to know about that. Also, another thing was that the blood stains that were found on Pradyuman's body, which did not belong to Pradyuman, did not match with Ashok Kumar's, and that's why he was acquitted of all the charges. And during the investigation, a lot of witnesses, school staffs, teachers, and students, when all these people gathered in front of the washroom when Pradyuman was lying unconscious on the floor, a lot of people were actually taking video footages, and when the CBI went through all of these video footages and a lot of phone records and forensic investigation, they came down to this anonymous 16-year-old boy. Yes, we don't know the identity of this perpetuator, of this accused actually, because of the laws and regulations of this nation, that a juvenile in a case deserves its anonymity. Well, there are some days I really doubt this. So the CBI, after they arrested the 16-year-old boy, they took permission from Juvenile Justice Board to investigate this 16-year-old boy, which is a very much a necessity. Also, they were granted permission to keep him 3 days under remand. Now, during this period, during this 3 days of period, there was a juvenile justice officer, a psychologist, and the father of the accused. So, during the investigation, this 16-year-old boy confessed that he was the one who slit Pradyuman Thakur's throat twice. So according to this boy, he wanted to do something sensational. Now he believed that a sensational act would either cancel or bring some kind of disruption in his school examination or parent-teacher meeting that was scheduled in that week. I mean, remember I was talking about how we all wanted to avoid examination? This is something on some other level. Like, I really had a lot of questions, like how do you come up with something like this, like something so sensational? So he confesses that it was him and he was not so good in his studies, he wasn't doing well, he was dually petrified and frightened of the parent-teacher meeting, he did not really wanted his parents to know about his ill studies, and that's why he decided to murder someone. Yes, it was a random selection. He did not really target on Pradyuman Thakur, though Pradyuman Thakur and this 16-year-old boy, they shared a music class together, but then the accused said that it was a random selection, like he was just waiting with a knife he had bought from his locality and he was just waiting for anyone to enter the washroom, and he would have done that to anybody. So during his trial and prosecution, he changed. He denied that he confessed about it. And again, I'm saying that money and power matters a lot. And like we all know that Haryana police was just bluffing around and they were faking and they were actually casting their own evidences. And well, some say it was because of the accused's father, who is said to be a very well reputed lawyer and quite a rich man. So during the investigation, the CBI also came up with a lot of his classmates and friends who said that this boy is said to have a lot of aggressive behavior. Also, just a couple of days before the incident, he went on telling his friends that they don't have to worry about any exams because he's going to do something about it. So, like I said, during the prosecution, he denied that he made any such confession. The father, who is, again, I'm repeating that he's quite a well reputed lawyer, he said that his son was physically tortured by the CBI. Again, I cannot very well say that it is not true. We don't know. I mean, I'm an outsider, so I don't know what exactly is happening, so I wouldn't make a point on that. Anyways, during the prosecution and the trial period, a council was set up. So, the council consisted of a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a juvenile justice officer, as well as a welfare officer in his license. Now, the court asked the psychologist and the psychiatrist to conduct some mental and physical assessments on the accused. And after the assessment, it was made clear that the accused is mentally and physically fit and can be trialed as an adult. Anyways, I tried to find more about the prosecution and the trial. Is almost more than 3 years and it's still under trial, it's being prosecuted. I tried to actually find any updates on the accusation part. Is he convicted or not? And the unfortunate fact is no. Though he tried to get bail from the state high court, but then he was denied because the Supreme Court did not allow it. And he's still in the jail, and like I said, he's getting prosecuted. He's not yet convicted. See, in the end of the day, all we want is Pradyuman Thakur to get his justice. We want the real murderer, the real perpetrator, to be convicted. I don't know if it is a 16-year-old boy. I can only make assumptions and I can only give you my opinions. It could be anyone. It could be someone who is not even in the radar. It could be someone whose name I might not have taken. I hope that I get to know about the conclusion of this case as soon as possible. There have been some pauses because of COVID, of course. The entire world was at a pause. Anyways, that's all for the day. And I promise to update you guys with this case if I could find anything more on the accusations and conviction. Well, for the next video, I would love it if you guys could suggest anything. You could directly DM me on my Instagram or you could just drop it in the comment section. Anyways, have fun and take care. Goodbye. Until next time.